After 9 consecutive days without proper sleep and several weeks of almost manic concentration, I finally finished the vocals for the new Ask the Slave album. These are by far the most ambitious vocals I've ever recorded. I've experimented and pushed the limits of my voice into every direction and recorded every style of melodic singing and gritty screaming imaginable, as well as multi-tracking my voice hundreds of times to create Queen-style choirs and choruses. And it's not just me who's been singing. The two guitarists, Elvar and Valur, are themselves fantastic singers who also contributed a lot of vocals in this album, backing vocals and even taking the lead on some parts where their unique voice characters were called for.
Try our best to forget.
I even called in my favorite female singer Solveig to double down on the backing vocals and in the choirs. All in all, this is a very vocal-driven album, a vocal statement. It is also safe to say that this has been the most physical album recording experience of my life. To achieve my vision for the vocals and to meet the mixing deadline, I've sometimes been singing, screaming and editing my vocals for 17 to 23 hours at a time, until my body starts shaking from exhaustion, just to see if I can find another color to my voice buried in the depths of my abilities. And there's a method to this madness. You see, when you push yourself to the brink of fatigue, you start tapping into energies and emotions that otherwise might elude you. Play it safe and you will get safe vocals, but go beyond the brink of sanity, and that's where you can express feelings of true despair, anguish, and of course, madness. And Ask the Slave's music is just this. It's a conglomerate of every single emotion on the human palette. Love, beauty, frailty, romance, humor, distress, madness, fucked up machismo, testosterone, and even hate. The last week before the deadline, I almost skipped sleeping altogether. And the few hours that I would lay down to catch some rest, I would immediately wake up in agony as my legs and muscles cramped up from dehydration and malnutrition. Naturally, my friends and family, knowing that I have a knack for wearing myself out, they all worried about me and urged me to get some rest. But I felt that this was something that I had to do, and something that I had to do in this particular way. There was also another reason for this manic state that I deliberately put myself in. Ask the Slave, my first musical love in Iceland, is very close to my heart. Me and the Slave guys have gone through thick and thin for 17 years now. And after we went on a hiatus from playing live in 2012, we had already written the basic ideas for the songs on this album. And we kept meeting a few times every year to work on the recordings, knowing that we had amazing music on our hands that we needed to finish one day. But when you carry an album on your mind for 8 years, it becomes a burden that latches onto every synapse of your brain and does not let go until you finally deliver it. So once I started to ramp myself up to finishing the vocals for this album earlier this spring, I knew and I felt that this was going to be the hardest birth of all my albums to date. Imagine being pregnant for 8 years straight and then giving birth to a 2-ton baby, and that's what this felt like. But now, the album is done, and as far as I'm concerned, this is a masterpiece. After I had sent the album off to be mixed on Tuesday evening, I immediately went on a road trip with my father to our summer house in order to decompress and to rest. And now, after 2 days in the Icelandic nature, I feel that my energies have been restored as well as my sanity. And I can see now how this period played out just the way I had hoped. On top of the great music we achieved, this process has been very cathartic. I'm filled with a sense of calm, being cleansed of this 8-year musical curse. And I'm filled with that most precious and invigorating of all emotions, gratitude. I'm filled with gratitude towards my bandmates Elvar, Valur, Hálfdán and Skúli, who are as crazy as I am and brave enough to venture into this highly unusual but original musical territory with me. Few people that I know would have had the guts to go the extra mile like we just did, but we did.